What's going on, y'all? Shout out to the LDBC. It's your boy Fight Critic here to give you guys another video. So another domino has essentially fallen, or another hurdle has been jumped in the way of us getting closer and closer to Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Now this time the domino, or the hurdle, domino has fallen on the hurdle that's been leaped over, is Oleksandr Usyk pretty much figured out his place. Of course, Oleksandr Usyk is the mandatory challenger for the WBO title, and which makes him the direct challenger to Anthony Joshua. Something that holds a strong, place in terms of he can mandate a fight. What he's choosing to do is step aside to allow Joshua versus Fury to take place, which the WBO has now conditionally approved of. So Usyk will fight Joe Joyce for the interim WBO title. Now, this raises a lot of significance because Oleksandr Usyk, for a long period of time, was telling us that he was not willing to step aside to allow this fight to happen. And now he is. So for me, I can't sit there and say that the WBO made the wrong decision, because Usyk is choosing to allow this to happen. And because Usyk is choosing to allow this to happen, he effectively bent the knee to the WBO, willing to put aside his want and need to become a champion and to let these two guys fight in what is expected to be their unification fight. So for Oleksandr Usyk, he instead chooses to fight Joe Joyce in an interim title fight, which will decide who will the winner of this fight end up fighting. The only problem with it is that should Joshua and Fury fight each other, it's a two-fight contract. So whoever comes out of the Usyk versus Joyce fight, they're going to be asked out regardless. And the WBO is sitting there saying that they're going to give them 180 days to figure out how to schedule the winner of Usyk versus Joyce versus Joshua versus Fury. And we've seen this situation happen before. We know what the situation is going to play out to be. All it's going to be is Oleksandr Usyk fucking himself over. Let's just be honest. It's just what's going to come down to. He's going to take the Joyce fight, and that's actually an interesting fight considering both these guys fought during the World Series of Boxing Challenge. But coming out of it, I don't think it really serves much of a purpose because he's just going to be waiting around for Joshua and Fury to get through two fights, and we know that that can be a 2-year process if need be. So for Usyk, he kind of fucked himself over. He probably had a better chance either forcing himself to fight Joshua or to get Joshua to drop a title. And then should he win the title and should Joshua and Fury go through what they need to go through, you would still have somebody saying, hey, there's still one guy in the division that needs to fight. But because he's not choosing to do so, albeit for the greater good, it means that should Joshua and Fury go through, there's an undisputed champion. But he's not going to get a shot at that title for 2 years. So he kind of didn't do himself any favors. And I think for how things will look, especially when you look at the fact that, Usyk is under Matchroom, there has to be a little bit of concern there, considering that it's a conflict of interest. Eddie Hearn has been vocal in letting, Usyk know that he's not going to get his title shot. And for a promoter to be that outspoken about it, I find it weird that Usyk would agree that he doesn't want his title shot now and he would prefer to take an interim title fight. We're not going to notice you or think you're a champion by you doing this. Let's just be honest. Holding an interim title is nothing to the boxing fan, to be honest. It's nothing unless you are elevated to be the real champion. And should Joshua and Fury have their fight and ultimately in the end you get a situation where you have a draw, or if Fury wins, Fury can just drop the belt. Joshua can also just drop the belt if they want to fight each other again and they don't want to, wait around for you. So you're just stuck picking up a title. You're not getting the opportunity to fight these guys. And for Usyk, this is his own fault, So whatever comes out of this situation, it's Usyk's fault. If he doesn't get the opportunity to fight these two guys when they figure out their 2-fight stint, then that's on him, unfortunately. It's not going to be on anybody else. He can't complain to the media anymore, and he damn sure can't complain to the fans. He bent the knee to the WBO here.